In the quiet neighborhood of Maple Grove, Karen Thompson embodied the spirit of order. With her clipboard always in hand, she patrolled the streets like a hawk, ensuring every rule set by the Homeowners Association was followed to the letter. Her infamous reputation was known far and wide, many neighbors called her the Enforcer. She took particular issue with any sign of early holiday spirit, deeming it a blatant disregard for community standards. As autumn approached, someone braver than most decided to hang oversized skeletons and ghouls in his front yard. That someone was Mike Jenkins, an easygoing guy who believed that Halloween was a time of joy and creativity. To him, decorating meant excitement, laughter, and a dash of friendly spookiness. But when he unveiled his extravagant Halloween inflatables on October 1st, Karen's disdain boiled over. "Mike," she said sternly one afternoon as she stood at his gate, "you can't put these up this early. It's against HOA policy. If you don't take them down immediately, I will have no choice but to issue a fine." Mike grinned mischievously. He loved Halloween and had no plans to back down from her threat. Instead, he felt a spark of inspiration ignite within him. If Karen wanted to enforce the rules so strictly, maybe he could find a way to challenge her authority, by creatively bending the rules in his own delightfully defiant way. Thus began his whimsical rebellion against Karen Thompson's reign of order in Maple Grove. Mike Jenkins was the kind of guy who looked forward to Halloween all year long. With a heart full of creativity and a penchant for fun, he made it his personal mission to turn his yard into a festive wonderland each October. Bright orange pumpkins, glowing lights, and whimsical inflatables filled every corner of his yard, transforming it into a magical place that radiated joy. Nothing made him happier than seeing children giggle in delight as they ventured down the street, their eyes wide with excitement at the sight of his vibrant decorations. Every 1st of October marked the start of Mike's favorite season. He had a collection of inflatable ghosts, goofy skeletons, and even a giant pumpkin that seemed to laugh at passers-by. This year, he had gone all out, setting up his displays with an enthusiasm that could rival any kid's anticipation for candy. His neighbors often joked that Mike's yard was the happiest spot in Maple Grove. But beyond the decorations lay a deeper reason for Mike's fervor. He believed in celebrating the joy of community. Halloween was not just about spookiness, it gave everyone a chance to come together, share stories, and create lasting memories. As he stepped back to admire his handiwork one warm October evening, he felt a rush of happiness wash over him. Little did he know that his love for festive spirit would soon stir up trouble with Karen, leading to a playful clash between order and creativity in Maple Grove. The sun was shining brightly as Mike proudly admired his decorative handiwork, but his moment of joy was about to be interrupted. Just days after he set up his Halloween inflatables, Karen Thompson strode up his driveway, her clipboard in hand and an expression of disapproval etched across her face. With a firm stance and arms crossed, she did not waste any time. "Mike," she called out sharply, causing him to turn around, "these decorations are against HOA rules. Putting them up this early is simply unacceptable." Surprised but unfazed, Mike laughed lightly. "Come on, Karen. It's only October 1st. Halloween is meant to be celebrated." But Karen wasn't having it. "Celebration or not, you need to take them down immediately or face a fine." Her tone was as cold as the autumn breeze that started to blow. Mike felt a mix of frustration and amusement. He couldn't believe how seriously she took the rules, especially when all he wanted was to spread some cheer. "Fine me if you must," he replied with a cheeky grin. "But I'm not taking them down." Karen's eyes narrowed as she scribbled something on her clipboard, and Mike could see that her resolve was as strong as ever. The tension hung in the air like the smell of pumpkin spice, setting the stage for a spirited standoff. Little did Karen know that Mike's response would spark a creative rebellion that would challenge her authority and brighten the neighborhood even more. With Karen's warning still fresh in his mind, Mike felt an unexpected surge of determination. Instead of caving to her threats, he decided to take a stand, one that would make a statement. If he had to deal with Karen's endless rules, he would do so in the most festive and colorful way possible. As October rolled on, Mike left the Halloween inflatables up well beyond the holiday. The giant pumpkin that initially adorned his yard now proudly displayed a "Happy Halloween" sign that felt deliberately ironic. Each morning, he would step outside, knowing that every day the decorations remained was a tiny victory against Karen's strictness. With every few days that passed, he added more inflatable friends to the scene. Inspired by the challenge, Mike began dressing his skeletons in new outfits. The skeletons donned sparkly Santa hats as December approached, ensuring they were ready for a holiday cheer that even Karen could not suppress. He contemplated adding costumes for Valentine's Day next, planning heart-shaped balloons and adorable outfits to send a message: he wouldn't be silenced. Neighbors watched with mixed feelings of amusement and cheer, entertained by Mike's bold approach to defying Karen's regulations. The once ordinary sight of Halloween decorations transformed into a vibrant year-round display filled with holiday spirit. With each passing day, Mike felt more empowered, ready to turn this initial conflict into an imaginative expression that wouldn't just honor holidays but celebrate creativity itself. As the days turned into weeks, Mike's yard became a canvas for his creative spirit. Inspired by the fun of dressing up his Halloween skeletons, he eagerly embraced each upcoming holiday with a playful twist. December rolled around, and with it came a flurry of festive cheer. Mike adorned his skeletons in sparkly red and green Santa hats, draping them in cozy scarves and placing candy canes in their bony hands. One skeleton even sported a bright red nose, resembling a comical version of Rudolph, delighting the neighborhood children who passed by. Valentine's Day soon followed, and Mike's creativity took center stage once again. He swapped the winter attire for pink and red hearts, adorning his skeletons with cute Cupid wings and heart-shaped balloons. Each morning, he would wake up excited to see how the skeletons had come to life in new outfits, celebrating love and friendship in the most whimsical way possible. Not one to stop there, Mike started preparing for Easter. With pastel colors in mind, he dressed his skeletons in bunny ears and adorned their necks with colorful bow ties. He even placed a basket filled with faux eggs at their feet, making it look like they were ready for an egg hunt. Neighbors laughed and cheered as they watched his artistic displays evolve. Mike's yard transformed into a joyful celebration of holidays that brought people together, proving that creativity could thrive even under strict rules. With each costume change, he felt more liberated from Karen's grip, turning his once ordinary yard into an extraordinary expression of community spirit. As Mike's whimsical decorations continued to evolve, the neighborhood began to buzz with excitement. What started as a quiet amusement transformed into lively discussions among neighbors who strolled by to catch a glimpse of his unique yard. Children giggled with delight as they pointed at the skeletons in Santa hats and Cupid wings, while adults couldn't help but chuckle at the creativity that Mike so boldly displayed. Social media played its part, too, as neighbors began to share photos of Mike's yard on local community pages. Posts filled with laughter and admiration spread quickly, inviting everyone in Maple Grove to join in the fun. "Have you seen Mike's yard?" became a common conversation starter during friendly encounters at the local park or grocery store. Soon, people began stopping by just to take pictures or chat with Mike about his latest ideas. They admired how he had transformed his yard into a playful expression of holiday cheer, encouraging them to embrace their own festive spirits. The atmosphere in the neighborhood shifted. What once was a place of strict adherence to rules now became a lively community celebrating creativity together. Even Karen Thompson found herself caught up in the buzz. Though she initially disapproved of Mike's antics, she couldn't entirely ignore the smiles and laughter emanating from families gathering around his yard. As more neighbors joined in the fun by decorating their own homes, Mike's playful rebellion sparked a newfound sense of community that no one expected but everyone welcomed. The one serious HOA rule seemed less important as joy filled the streets of Maple Grove. Despite the buzz of excitement surrounding Mike's decorations, the HOA was not about to back down. One crisp afternoon, a stern envelope slipped through Mike's mail slot, bearing the unmistakable seal of the Homeowners Association. Curiosity mingled with a hint of dread as Mike opened it. The letter succinctly reminded him of the community guidelines regarding holiday displays and insisted that he take down all decorations promptly. Mike, The letter began, "While your creativity is noted, this display is in violation of our established rules." As he read, disbelief washed over him. Did they really think a little festive spirit warranted such sternness? The letter further asserted that maintaining harmony in the neighborhood was the HOA's priority and warned him that continued disregard would lead to fines or other actions. Reading the words, "holiday displays," made Mike chuckle. He had long since transformed his yard into what he termed a holiday-neutral art installation. To him, it was not just about the decorations, it was about joy and community. He imagined how to respond. Instead of feeling defeated, he felt invigorated by the challenge. After all, if his display brought smiles and laughter to his neighbors, something Karen could not seem to appreciate, he had no intention of backing down now. With a smirk, Mike decided to craft a witty response, one that would emphasize his intention to spread cheer rather than comply out of fear. The battle between creativity and strict rules was far from over, and he intended to fight it with every inflatable and costume at his disposal. With a playful spirit ignited by the HOA's letter, Mike crafted a clever response that would both entertain and make his point clear. He sent them a formal reply stating that his yard was now a holiday-neutral art installation, designed to celebrate all seasons and festivities in a way that brought joy and laughter to the community. When his neighbors caught wind of Mike's cheeky declaration, amusement rippled through the neighborhood like a wave. They gathered outside their homes, sharing laughter over the phrase that perfectly captured Mike's intent. Children pointed at the decorated skeletons as if they were pieces of art on display, with some even framing them in imaginary gallery openings complete with exaggerated applause. The local social media pages lit up with photos and comments showcasing Mike's art installation. Neighbors wrote captions like, "Come see the latest exhibit, holiday neutrality," and "Art or just fun? You decide." The playful banter mixed with admiration flooded the online group as residents tagged friends to join in on the spectacle. Soon, families began to flock to Mike's yard, excitedly chatting about their own holiday plans and sharing ideas for decorations. What had initially sparked concern from Karen instead transformed into a community event where laughter replaced tension. The joy of creativity spilled into the streets, and Mike felt proud knowing that what he created was more than just decorations. It became a celebration of community spirit that brought everyone together, fostering connections and smiles all around. As the weeks went by, Karen Thompson's frustration grew like a storm cloud over Maple Grove. She watched from her front porch, clipboard in hand, as families flocked to Mike's yard, their laughter and excitement echoing through the street. Children rushed up to the colorful skeletons adorned in silly costumes, pointing with delight and posing for pictures. Meanwhile, Karen felt increasingly isolated as her complaints about Mike's display seemed more futile with each passing day. Every time she attempted to voice her concerns at HOA meetings, she was met with eye rolls and indifferent glances. The other residents, now enchanted by Mike's cheerful rebellion, brushed her off, dismissing her warnings about community standards. It let her know that her strict enforcement had little weight against the collective desire for fun and creativity. One particularly frustrating evening, she drove by Mike's house only to discover neighbors gathered around a glowing display of skeletons dressed for Easter, complete with bunny ears and pastel-colored eggs scattered throughout the yard. "This is ridiculous," she muttered to herself as she clenched her steering wheel. Months of dedicated enforcement seemed worthless when her rules clashed with joyful spontaneity. Moments like these reinforced her resolve to put an end to what she viewed as a chaotic display. Yet every time she tried to rally support against Mike, she found herself outnumbered by laughter and friendship. Karen felt trapped in a world where joy reigned supreme over order. Little did she know, it was only the beginning of a whimsical movement that would continue to bloom in Maple Grove. As Mike's yard continued to blossom into a vibrant celebration of creativity, the community began to fully embrace his festive rebellion. Inspired by his joyful defiance, neighbors started coming together in support of Mike and his whimsical display. Families began to contribute their own decorations, adding a variety of holiday cheer and color to the streets of Maple Grove. One Saturday morning, a group of children gathered with armfuls of craft supplies, ready to decorate their own skeletons. They brought fairy lights, colorful scarves, and even handmade ornaments that hung from branches as they transformed the neighborhood into a cheerful wonderland. Parents joined the fun too, assisting with garlands and cheering on the kids' artistic flair. It was as if a grassroots movement had sprouted overnight. Barbecues began to pop up in driveways as neighbors celebrated with each other, swapping stories of their favorite holiday traditions while admiring Mike's evolving installation. The atmosphere shifted from routine living to lively festivities, laughter filled the air as impromptu gatherings grew more common. Mike stood proudly in his yard, grateful for the outpouring of support from those around him. He found himself feeling more connected than ever to his neighbors, as they collectively created an environment where creativity thrived. Even Karen Thompson couldn't help but notice, though reluctantly, with more homes joining in Mike's spirit of fun, she realized that her voice was growing weaker against the chorus of community joy. What began as a confrontation turned into a united front, turning Maple Grove into a hub of celebration and camaraderie, much to Karen's dismay. As the weeks turned into months, Karen Thompson found herself in an unexpected position. Observing from her front porch, she watched families gather around Mike's delightful yard, their laughter and joy weaving through the air like a treasured melody. There was something infectious about the creativity and camaraderie that had taken root in Maple Grove, and for the first time, Karen began to feel a sense of warmth stir within her. One evening, as she was out for a walk, she noticed children playing near Mike's yard, their faces painted with exuberance as they admired the skeletons dressed in bright outfits and surrounded by colorful decorations. The sight sparked a flicker of nostalgia in her heart, reminding her of the carefree days when holidays brought communities together for pure joy. That night, as she lay awake in bed, Karen contemplated the transformation of her neighborhood. She thought about how rigid adherence to rules had kept her isolated and how Mike's light-hearted rebellion had ignited a spirit she hadn't felt in years. Perhaps there was space for both order and creativity to coexist. The next day, as if inspired by newfound resolve, Karen walked over to Mike's house. With a genuine smile, she complimented his artistry, a gesture that surprised them both. "I have to admit," she said sheepishly, "your display does bring happiness to quite a few people around here." Mike beamed at her acknowledgement. It was a small step, yet it represented a much larger shift, the beginning of understanding between two neighbors who could now appreciate creativity alongside community standards. In that moment, Maple Grove felt more united than ever before. As seasons changed in Maple Grove, Mike's yard evolved into a beloved neighborhood feature, a vibrant tapestry celebrating every holiday throughout the year. His whimsical decorations became a symbol of joy, bringing families together to admire the ever-changing displays of creativity. Children would rush over after school, their faces lighting up at the sight of skeletons dressed for Halloween, snowmen sporting Santa hats in December, and sweethearts in Cupid outfits for Valentine's Day. Word spread quickly, and soon Mike's yard attracted visitors from nearby communities who came to experience the festive spirit that had taken root. Neighbors began hosting potlucks and holiday parties right in front of Mike's yard, using it as a backdrop for their gatherings. The lawn became a canvas that not only showcased Mike's creativity but also embodied the warmth and unity of the entire neighborhood. Even Karen Thompson started to embrace the charm of Mike's display, frequently joining in on the fun. She volunteered to help decorate for different holidays and formed bonds with families she had previously kept at arm's length. The laughter and excitement surrounding the decorations served as a reminder of how community spirit could flourish when creativity was welcomed. As Mike surveyed his yard one sunny afternoon, he marveled at how his playful rebellion had blossomed into a heartwarming tradition that transcended rules and regulations. Maple Grove was no longer simply a neighborhood, it had transformed into a vibrant community where joy, connection, and creativity thrived, all thanks to one man's desire to spread happiness through his festive displays.